How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily, the show that will keep you up to date on what's going on in the world of football on a daily basis.
I represent my fucking self.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. That's right. So, like I said, it's DT's Daily. You remember this show a few months ago? We was bringing you this on a daily basis, keeping you up to date with what goes on in the world of football. Well, we are back, and you can expect to find this show on my channel every single weekday, Monday to Friday, every morning, and we will see what's going on in the world of football. Now, the first place to start, of course, is in Italy and Serie A, because yesterday it was announced that Serie A has been suspended because of the coronavirus outbreak. Now, we already know that games were being played behind closed doors last week. Well, they've gone one step further now, and they have suspended Serie A and Serie B. And to, explain about the severity of this, Italy is on lockdown. Going through a report here, and this was all late last night, but a government decree announced by Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte confirmed the red zone would be expanded to cover all of Italy, effectively putting it into lockdown. People can only travel for emergencies or unavoidable work commitments. The order also includes the suspension of all sporting events in Italy, including Serie A and Serie B. Now, some of the implications of this as well are a lot wider because, of course, in the summer, in June, we have Euro 2020. Now, some of the games will be in Italy. Now, one of the games is in Rome, and that's Italy against Turkey on June the 12th. And it's going to be near on impossible to get the season finished before then. So according to a lot of the publications within Italy, there are three options open to Serie A in these circumstances. Postponing Euro 2020 would seem the more likely if the virus continues to spread throughout Europe, as there are, of course, significant spikes in cases in other countries, most notably Spain. Now, they could pull it back to the autumn or even next year. Another alternative would be putting together a cram fixture list for the final month with a game every 2 to 3 days, and even postponing the Coppa Italia entirely until June or August. Worst case scenario would see the season end right now. But then what are the implications of that as well? Who would they assign the league to? European places. And it says that with regards to relegation, the clubs would be protected. Promote the top two in Serie B with additional promotion playoffs, and increase Serie A to 22 teams. It's insane when you think about it. It's just completely crippling the whole world at the moment. And I've got a feeling that very soon it's going to start affecting the Premier League. The severity of this is huge. And yes, Serie A has been suspended until April. And you're looking at, the implications within the Premier League and everything else, and what would happen if games get put behind closed doors or even suspended. And as of now, no implications and no, measures have been put in place. And, the next game is, of course, Arsenal playing Manchester City tomorrow night, and that's going ahead. Fans are still allowed to go and everything else. But why would they play games behind closed doors? Now, they're saying that the outbreak of the illness, the English football calendar is packed. From now until the final day of the season on the 17th of May, there are just 2 midweek dates not being used for European matches that postponed games can fit into. So yeah, it's crammed already. Those dates are required for matches rearranged because of the FA Cup, the quarterfinals and the semi-finals, and the FA Cup final is scheduled for the 23rd of May, and the Champions League final in Istanbul is due to be played 7 days after that. And of course, Euro 2020 starts on the 12th of June. Unless matches are allowed to be played behind closed doors, it is impossible to see how the season can finish. That would raise all kinds of issues. Everyone knows, of course, that Liverpool are going to win the league, and I know we banter them and everything else, but there's a real chance that Liverpool could win the league with nobody watching. No fans allowed into the stadium. Liverpool being Liverpool, they will probably, have thousands of fans outside Anfield waiting for the conclusion of a game that would mean that they are champions so that they could celebrate and everything else. But no one would physically be allowed in the stadium. No one would be able to see them lift the trophy. Nobody would be able to see them have a trophy parade. They've waited 30 years for a league title, and it looks like the coronavirus may stop them from seeing anything. It's crazy, but the implications as well. We saw what Serie A are doing with the promotions from the Championship and everything else, and we don't know what's actually going to happen with the Premier League. And it's do you relegate teams if you ended the season right now? The implications, the legal ramifications if you relegated a side that's currently in the relegation zone with 10 games to play. They were speaking to Tranmere Rovers chairman Mark Palios, who of course is a former chief executive of the Football Association, and he believes that clubs will not mount legal challenges if the league is suspended. If they do, they will have to mount legal challenges against the government. And I don't think that's the road they want to go down. It's mad. Just the virus itself and what it's doing to the whole world and how it's literally putting a stop on everything. It's crazy. So we're going to have to watch this space, because I do genuinely believe that within the next week to 2 weeks, especially if there's more cases within England and it starts to spread as badly as it has in Italy, then we're going to see games in England played behind closed doors. And then if it starts to progress from that, then we may well see the Premier League suspended. So it's a bit of a crazy one. So yeah, Serie A is suspended and the Premier League may follow suit very soon. We don't know. Going to actual football, and last night, of course, there was a Premier League game, and that was Leicester against Aston Villa. Very, very comfortable for Leicester, 4-0 win. And you're looking at the goal scorers. Harvey Barnes scores a couple and Jamie Vardy scores a couple as well. And Leicester, they needed that because they've been on a bit of a bad run. And all the teams in and around them, the likes of Chelsea, Manchester United, etc., were starting to close in, and they kind of cement their place in that top three. And they're sitting on 53 points. They are 5 points ahead of Chelsea, and they are 8 points ahead of Manchester United. And then they've got that breathing space between Wolves, Sheffield United, Spurs, and of course Arsenal. Arsenal do have a game in hand, which of course is tomorrow night against Manchester City, I know. But if we got up to 43 points, then we would be 10 behind Leicester, a tall feat, and I don't think that we'd be able to catch that one. So yeah, that victory for Leicester was very, very important. Now, last piece of news, something else that I saw last night, and that involves Charlton Athletic. And there seems to be a very, very bitter dispute going on at the moment. And it involves the chief executive and one of their majority shareholders. And the owners of clubs and everything else. But yeah, it's not great. Apparently the majority shareholder, Tanu Nimir, went out and, put out a letter and everything else about certain things within the club, and some of the accusations has actually led the chief executive, Matt Southall, to speak with lawyers, and they're looking to pursue this for defamation of character. And some of the things that have been said and gone on, and I'll tell you something, who I feel sorry for in these situations are the fans and the players, they're not doing anything wrong. They're trying to, you know, concentrate on the season and finishing strongly and everything else. And you've got all this kind of stuff that goes on. But you look at the statement itself, and just to briefly go through it, it's saying here, it's been brought to my attention that he has repeated and indeed expanded upon the malicious falsehoods made in the initial letter. As consequences, I will be now meeting with my lawyers to discuss an action for defamation. However, my immediate priority is to protect the clubs and its staff from these damaging statements. Also contained in that letter were claims that he appointed a chief executive officer, an action that I am advised by the club's lawyers would be outside of the parameters of Panorama's influence. Even more worryingly, the letter also threatened members of the senior management team with legal action if they did not comply with his demands. Wow, that is not great. And there was another piece in here that caught my attention as well. And it was saying here, this part, and it is a crucial time of the season, and it would seem appropriate that all the stakeholders direct their efforts in support of the team and the club. Therefore, it is disappointing that the majority shareholder should act in such a manner and be attempting to purchase Dinamo Bucharest to the point where he pictured himself in Romania during Saturday's fixture. Yeah, that is not great. And I feel sorry for Charlton, man. I really do. I feel sorry for the fans and everyone that's caught in the middle of this. And it's, you know, people that don't really care about the club and care more about money seem to be causing problems. It's a very, very strong statement from, you know, the chief executive, Matt Southall. And he's going to fight tooth and nail to, you know, clear his name from the defamation of character and everything else. And hopefully this can all start to get put to the back burner, and hopefully, you know, the management and the team and everything else can concentrate on, you know, the end of season, and this can be dealt with in pre-season or whatever. I don't know. But listen, there we go. It's not a great one. So that is it for today's edition of DT Daily. Like I said, you can catch this show every single morning, Monday to Friday. It's a brand new feature. We're bringing it back on my channel. So until tomorrow, I will see you lot soon. I'm out of here.